and there's going to be so many casualties. Like from a major EV maker perspective, major businesses will have to look at themselves and go, and it might not dawn this year, it might not be next, maybe the year after, but big parts of their businesses will fail because they can't get the batteries, because they can't get the raw materials. It becomes really as fundamental as that. And yeah, I mean, I do think Panasonic is definitely one to watch. I think 2023 will be the year of Panasonic in the USA, and the year of maybe in Europe, but certainly in the USA. And I think Panasonic's approach to building an ecosystem and the supply chain is when Panasonic move, they move, I think, and they have decided to move. So I think that's crucial as well.
Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. Quick shout out to my new or updated patrons, Jim S., Dean, and Doug S. Thank you for choosing to support the channel. Real quick, a correction from yesterday when I was talking about Tesla's debt figures decreasing from around 3 billion a few quarters ago to now being at 66 million. I accidentally said billion with a B. Of course, Tesla only has $66 million of debt. This right here is a great summary of all of the Tesla analyst updates after Q2. This was from Nitzao on Reddit, so go ahead and pause the screen or take a screenshot if you'd like. From Chuck Cook, it looks like Tesla's internal ADAS testers are out actually trying Chuck's famous left-hand turn and trying to keep a low profile in the process. So it may be the case that until Tesla figures out this specific turn, we will not see the public release of 10.13. Some people out there are making a big fuss about this one for whatever reason. The short story is Tesla's standard connectivity that previously was free for the lifetime of the vehicle will now only be free for 8 years. Direct from Tesla's website, if you're purchasing a used vehicle, you'll be notified of how long your vehicle will include access to standard connectivity. So from here on out, it looks like buying a new Tesla, we will only have this standard connectivity free for 8 years. After that, it sounds like there will be a subscription fee for the standard, maybe in tandem with a subscription fee for the premium that currently is $10 per month or $100 for the year in the United States. Access to these features highlighted in yellow can actually be achieved with the standard package over Wi-Fi. Everybody's biggest question right now without premium connectivity is asking what features will we lose? Features that may change currently include maps, navigation, voice commands, and more. And who's in the clear and never has to worry about this? All new Tesla vehicles ordered on or before July 20th of this year will have these standard features at no cost for the lifetime of the vehicle. Further, there will also be no changes to all Teslas ordered before June 30th, 2018 that will have free premium connectivity for the lifetime of the vehicles. It looks like the upgrades to the Giga Berlin facility have gone well, and they're already doing some new testing with some new technology, at least new to this factory. So far, these are just test vehicles, but we're looking at a Model Y with a single piece front casting. Previously, it was just rear castings, a Model Y rear wheel drive, and a Model Y with a white interior. According to a Drive Tesla Canada source, apparently that front casting was built with the GigaPress machine at Giga Berlin, and they're saying this is the first time that's happened. They did not give a timeline for when this new tech would make it to full production. If I had to guess, I would say sometime in Q3. They also confirmed no third shift at the factory yet. That should take the factory to 24-hour production, but we shouldn't expect that until later in the fall. According to some local German sources, Giga Berlin is set to reopen in full this coming Monday, July 25th, and even better, they are actually reportedly testing some 4680 structural pack Model Ys. Bear in mind, this is purely a test vehicle, but they do have another one scheduled for today. As far as if the 4680 cells for this test vehicle are coming from Berlin or elsewhere, it's not totally clear. This article is saying that the separate 4680 building is not yet finished. However, even if it's not totally finished, they could have trial production, as just on the call, I think it was Drew, who confirmed that Tesla was indeed working on 4680 production at Berlin in some capacity. Either way, the upgrades went well. We're set for full production this Monday, and there should be new technology just around the corner. Giga Berlin is not done delivering for today though, as some new paint colors are being tested from what we are hoping will be the world's most advanced paint shop. According to source code, the first 3 new colors other than white and black will be Mercury Silver Metallic, Deep Crimson Multicoat, which I can't wait to see, and Abyss Blue Multicoat. Already this week, 2 performance Model Ys have been tested with both crimson and silver. Very important reminder from James Cat on a point that I didn't get the chance to drive home as hard as I would like to, but Giga Berlin, producing only about 8,000 cars in Q2, is already producing positive gross margins. This means excellent things for the future of Giga Berlin when it comes to profitability. The Rockstock channel did a really good interview with Simon Moores from Benchmark Mineral Intelligence, and I want to share the key points with you. Simon, who's spoken at various government events and with many politicians, said the narrative in DC has shifted and there's a bigger emphasis being placed on the lithium-ion industry. The Department of Defense has actually given a grant to Lynas, an Australian company set to open US operations. This will be for rare earth processing and separation. The facility will be in Texas. So just one example of more to come. There's also $3.6 billion in grants set aside for battery mineral processing from the infrastructure bill. Over the next 10 years, the United States has around 724 gigawatt hours planned in the pipeline, but according to Simon, this needs to triple to really have a solid EV industry here in the States. Simon's expecting government money to flow into the mining and refining and processing space, but he's still not sure on if that money will make it to the cathode and the anode phase. United States departments could fund partnerships with Australia and Canada to domesticate their natural resources. Basically, the United States is starting to understand we cannot do this alone and we need to develop country-level partnerships. The two at the top of the list, Australia and Canada. On this recent deal between Tesla and Panasonic, where Panasonic is set to source and supply 2 terawatt hours, this could be seen as a signal from Tesla that mining directly is not a great risk-reward, since chemical mining and processing is very different than hardware and software, so it would be a great challenge with many unknowns even for Tesla. Now, Tesla can still do offtake deals directly with mines and feed this supply through this partnership with Panasonic, but this 2 terawatt hour deal with Panasonic that they've already agreed to publicly is most likely Tesla taking a step back from direct mining. Panasonic also said it wants to build a supply chain of its own, which is a big statement. This is just me thinking out loud here for a second, but if Tesla's chances of getting into mining directly were maybe 30%, after this Panasonic news and this interview, it seems like for me it's bumped down maybe to 5 or 10%, which ultimately I think is a positive bullish thing. And lastly, the guys talked about how LFP is a great way to scale lithium batteries quickly, but without a lithium mine, you can only scale so quickly. So Simon thinks that NCA and NCM chemistries will be coming back into more focus over the next 3 to 5 years because the lithium refining and processing phase is still in a shortage. Full video will be linked below. Just want to comment on one thing from another one of these JD Power studies. This one is the APEAL, or the Automotive Performance, Execution, and Layout Study. Basically just telling you how emotionally attached customers are to their vehicles. The point here, despite high gas prices, overall BEVs were scoring lower. Excluding Tesla though in this data, they underperformed gasoline vehicles in this study with a score of 838. But check this out, why did JD remove Tesla from the average BEV scoring? Because the brand's dominance in the category would skew the results of all of the other BEVs. And since we're here, if you're into these studies, I'll give you a nice scroll down the list so you can see the final results. Remember, Tesla scores are unofficial because Tesla doesn't allow JD access to certain customer data in certain states. From Jeff Roberts on Twitter, let's do a quick check-in of Tesla's cathode facility progress at Giga Austin. This is also shaping up to be a pretty big building. Also wanted to point out quickly that in Q2, Tesla's energy division actually generated a $97 million profit, and this was coming from a $72 million loss just 1 quarter prior. This was a record profit quarter for Tesla Energy, and it's not like they, quadrupled up their energy revenue or something like that. They're still driving down the cost, so this was a very encouraging sign. And look, I know it's only $97 million, but hopefully they can continue this positive margin business going forward and continue to scale as the supply chain challenges cease. This was a pretty awesome video of a Tesla semi driving in California, but you see the artwork on the side. This was actually the semi that was painted at Tesla's Cyber Rodeo event in Austin. One more time for good measure because you don't get to see the artwork that long, but that is pretty cool. This is one of the weirdest Tesla articles I've read in some time. Basically, Omead Afshar, who's kind of Elon's right-hand man, basically the guy you send to fix problems, well, apparently he put in a purchase order for some glass earlier this year, and it was flagged as being suspicious in that perhaps somehow these materials were for personal use for either Elon or Omead. This purchase order was also supposed to be for a secret or a special project. Bloomberg is saying it has sources saying that Tesla already fired some employees, but it's just odd because if Omead Afshar actually put in the purchase order, who is getting fired and why? Here it is, Omead told the workers it was for a secret project. But Omead, who has worn many hats for Tesla, including overseeing the construction of Giga Austin, they're saying that he may be put on a leave of absence and then maybe quietly be leaving the company. Just coming from Bloomberg, nothing for sure, but we'll keep an eye on it. I wanted to show you Omead's LinkedIn page because one, it says Office of the CEO at Tesla, but when you go down to his bio and experience, you'll actually see just a cowboy hat for his explanation of what he does at Tesla. So hopefully this is nothing. I don't know what to make of it right now. This comment on the news from Actually Thoughtful is one of the best I've seen in recent memory. Good news for Canada, as zero-emission vehicle registrations in Q1 this year are up 50% compared to Q1 of last year. So Q1 this year, they now account for about 7.7% of the market share. The only downside is in Canada, they classify ZEVs as both full battery electric and plug-in hybrid. 26,000 new ZEVs were registered in Q1 this year, up from 17,200 Q1 last year. With ZEVs sitting at a 7.7% market share in Q1, that was up from 5.2% for all of 2021. Canada's goal, 20% by 2026. And the top 3 provinces for ZEV adoption in Q1, Quebec, Ontario, and British Columbia. Here it is though, the news of the day. I guess when you look at the tea leaves over the past few months, we should have seen it coming to some degree, but it's still kind of surprising to actually see it happen. So they're saying that Diess has stepped down, but in all reality, he was forced out. Diess will be succeeded by Oliver Blume, who is currently the CEO of Porsche, and Porsche has a lot going on itself. They're kind of planning for an IPO here in the near future, and those funds should help the VW group and of course Porsche move toward electrification. It looks like Diess is set to be done as soon as September 1st, and we know that there were all kinds of issues at VW. Diess wanted to cut, up to 30,000 jobs, and some of the works councils and the unions just were not having that. There was plenty of unrest and upheaval within the company in terms of not liking how aggressively Diess was trying to move toward EVs. And of course, we've reported on the Cariad situation, VW's custom software that's well behind schedule, not going well, all kinds of issues. So basically, the families that own VW just thought it was time for new leadership, and here we are. So I definitely feel for the guy. I mean, trying to steer that massive conglomerate of a ship toward EVs had to be a nightmare in and of itself. I wonder if to any degree he's kind of relieved to be out of that situation. With Diess, we knew that VW would be racing toward electrification on a big scale and making the necessary changes, which I definitely supported. Now it's not so sure, so we're gonna have to wait and see what Oliver Blume thinks is the best way forward for the VW conglomerate, and only time will tell. And now the real question becomes, should Tesla go out and try to scoop up Diess for some type of executive role at Tesla? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. That'll do it for today. Please take a second to like the video if you did. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.